Congratulations on being almost done with a super deeply detoxing 3-week cleanse. So where do you go from here? Well, first of all, I'd love for you to share with us what you learned, what you achieved, what you plan to do next. I know you're thinking about all that stuff, and it just makes it a lot stronger when you can share it with us. So that's item number one. Item number two is how to reintroduce foods. So you've basically done an elimination diet by doing this cleanse. You've taken out pretty much all like allergy-inducing foods. There could be a couple things that were on the cleanse that you could have a sensitivity to, like tomatoes or pitted fruits. We could talk about that separately. But the big ones we basically took out. The biggest allergens are soy, sugar, corn, wheat, egg. I think I'm missing a few, but in that neighborhood are the biggest ones. So how to reintroduce foods if you want to see what you're sensitive to. I would suggest to start with sort of less risky foods. Start with adding in red meat, start with adding in nuts, start with adding in beans. And the way to add it in is add one new food and then wait up to 3 days for a reaction, and to eat a lot of it. So let's say the first thing you want to reintroduce is red meat. Well, eat like a big portion of red meat in the day, and then check your digestion, check your elimination, check your mood, kind of just notice everything. If you have a reaction right away, you know that food is trouble for you, and you can actually add the next food. If you don't have a reaction right away, just wait this 3 days to make sure. Add a food, see if you react or not. If you don't seem to be reacting, wait it out a little longer. Then if you react right away, you can go ahead and add another food because we know that one. We know the result there. It's a little tricky to do this so slowly after you've already been depriving yourself for 3 weeks. But you've already come this far, so if you can do it, that's great. And I've never been able to do it quite perfectly, but even doing it imperfectly, I still have noticed some food sensitivities for myself. So I would introduce later some more troubling foods, maybe egg in the middle, dairy or cheese, and again you want like a big portion to really test it out. And I wanted to just talk about some of these foods that really I don't think anyone should be eating. Soy is one of them. Some fermented soy might be okay, but using soy as a protein source, it can eliminate nutrients from your body. It can kind of scramble your hormones. It's definitely not good for fertility. So, there's certain foods that you are, so to speak, allowed to have now. It doesn't mean you should be. So, it's sort of up to you what you want to do next. You may want to, reintroduce some dairy, and you might be able to tolerate some. Let me talk about dairy for a second. Pasteurized dairy is mostly what the problem is. The pasteurizing is the problem. So the pasteurization with the high heat changes the protein molecule and kills off all the enzymes. So when the lactose hits your system, you can't make the lactase to digest it. For me, I've been experimenting with some goat products or some raw cheeses, raw aged cheeses. You may be able to tolerate dairy better than some people. I'm sort of finding that I don't tolerate it very well. What other foods? Coffee. You might be able to have coffee, black coffee, not like a super latte experiment thing, a couple times a week. But if you're having coffee every day, that's an addiction. And if you're having coffee with a ton of sugary junk in it, that's not so clean either. Sugar is another one. There's really no great sweet snack. If you're going to use a sweetener, I would say use maple syrup or use sorry, I blanked out there. Maple syrup or honey. But, you shouldn't, there's really nobody who tolerates a Kit Kat bar very well. It's just not going to happen. So just kind of keep that in mind as you reintroduce foods. None of those foods should be like a daily part of your diet. Last thing I was going to talk about was the shakes. I had some questions about that. You can buy another tub of shake mix. I have a shake, at least 3-4 times a week. It's a nice, easy to digest breakfast or just snack. And now you can experiment with adding like almond butter or some other things to it. You can also make your own little concoctions. Just going to show you this stuff. I love this stuff by Amazing Grass. I love this green flavor too, or this chocolate flavor. You can make a little shake like with this and some almond butter and maybe some flax oil and some frozen blueberries. And that's like pretty delicious. And this stuff is pretty affordable. This is another one I have. This is like a fruit antioxidant superfood thing. This is pretty good too. And you can add these two things to the shake too for more protein. Neither of these have protein in them. And there's one more product I don't have handy, but a local doctor makes a product called Nourish Me that is like a really healthy drink mix, and the website is nourishme.com, and you can check that out. So yeah, I encourage you to have some of these easy to digest protein shakes on into the future. Okay, well, I hope that helps, and I'm really so proud of you for doing this. Most people will not do it, so good for you. And I would love, if you haven't used your treatment, if you got a treatment with this cleanse, or you just like a treatment, if you haven't used that yet, you can schedule that with me or with someone else on our staff, and we can talk more specifically about your health. I did get a couple questions. Why am I still tired? Why is this still going on? A 3-week detox can't fix everything. If something's been going on for you for 10, 12 years, it can't necessarily be fixed in 3 weeks. But it can be fixed. Most things can be corrected with, your diligent effort. So if you're still having problems with sugar cravings or energy or hormone issues, whatever it is, we can address that with you. We'd love to. All right. Thanks, guys.